truth is stranger than fiction. On October 26, 2001, 25-year-old nursing assistant Shante Jawan Mallard struck 37-year-old Gregory Glenn Biggs with her vehicle and lodged him into the windshield. However, rather than help the gentleman or even take him to a nearby hospital, she drove home and left him to die. Mallard feared that she'd be arrested for driving under the influence, which she was. But it prompted her to call her friend Clayday Jackson for some help in disposing Biggs' body. And as incredible as that story might sound, what's even more unbelievable is that this was adapted into a movie. Stuck 2007 is a film that is directly inspired by the inciting events of Mallard's case. So, written by John Stursick and directed by Stuart Gordon, this dark comedy creates a bleak depiction of American society and its social dynamics. This movie contrasts its darker themes about classism, greed, and apathy with the contemporary stylization of the early 2000s. And in a weird way, it acknowledges that it's a product of a society that regards horrific cases of crime as entertainment. I mean, hey, look at this video, we're kind of doing it right now. Stuck did not see financial success in any sense, but I think this can be attributed to the opposite tones the trailer and the film had. For some reason, the distributors thought that it would be a good idea to market this as a goofy 2000s Weekend at Bernie's type rendition.
You didn't say you hit a guy and brought him home with you. You ever thought of calling 911?
Take me to a hospital.
Just go to sleep.
What the hell happened to your car?
Brandy hit something. A deer.
A deer?
In reality, it reads like Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart. Yeah, way to bring me back to 7th grade. So all that being said, let's talk about the plot of this movie. We watch as Brandy, our nursing assistant, receives the good news that she will be receiving a promotion soon. By contrast, we watch as Tom, our martyr, receives the bad news that he must leave his apartment or be removed. So the night progresses, and Brandy celebrates with her friends at the club and at the bar. After consuming a few drugs and a lot of alcohol, Brandy gets behind the wheel to speed home. Suddenly, she strikes Tom and lodges him in the windshield. Brandy, consumed with panic, keeps speeding home and calmly parks her car in her garage, where she leaves Tom to suffer to death. Brandy checks in on him multiple times, and she even lies to him, saying that she's going to get help, all while Tom is in critical condition. Tom fights for approximately 48 hours in the garage just to survive, nearly being rescued multiple times by passersby, but Brandy stops him each time from escaping. Eventually, she calls her friend, Rashid, to come and help get rid of Tom. But when they enter the garage to finally end Tom's misery, Tom fights back with everything he has. Tom traps Brandy with her own car, and Brandy begs for help. When Tom reaches out to help her, she fires a hidden handgun on her person, which ignites the gasoline that she pours and burns herself alive. Tom limps out of the garage and passersby help him out. Okay, so Stuck hangs the audience in the suspense and in the battle for survival, but the real-life case was far more horrific than the movie. The case, originating from 2001, ended far more tragically, with Greg Biggs actually losing his life stuck in the garage. Mallard and her co-conspirator Jackson successfully staged Briggs' body in a nearby park for authorities to find, and months later, Mallard went on to drunkenly gossip about the incident at a party, which resulted in her arrest. And that makes this film a slight departure from the grim reality. However, a movie is, much like all other art, a communication between audience and director. So, what is this movie trying to say? Stuck spends a lot of time depicting the unraveling of Brandy's life, especially after she chooses to let Tom suffer to death in her car. I brought up the Telltale Heart of Edgar Allan Poe, but yes, she really does see flashes of Tom's face throughout the film. She blames Tom for not looking and not being careful, when she was the one that was driving under the influence and at a recklessly high speed. Brandy simultaneously apologizes to Tom, but then refuses to help him in any meaningful way, and even actively harms him, all while being a nurse. But why? And how? Because she believes that by helping this man, it may jeopardize her comfortable life. And in many ways, Brandy is a caricature of the greater American population. Because Brandy can't stand to see the pain that she has caused with her recklessness and apathy. Rather than confront this part of herself by taking radical action and helping Tom's situation, and in turn helping her own, she actively corrupts herself and lives against the nursing code and against all morals that you and I know. It's like even acknowledging that she played a role in Tom's suffering is too much for her. So she'd rather end his suffering than take his accountability. I guess if the director, Stuart Gordon, were recounting this movie to you by word of mouth, you might leave with a sense of hopefulness and understanding the importance of grit, endurance, and survival. But by contrast, if you were to read the case files, the real-life case files, in plain text, your mind might become overwhelmed with the dread of learning how even a nurse can be corrupted to commit murder. Truth is stranger than fiction. Overall, what can we take away from this film? Well, I guess here's what I would say. Number one, when it comes to marketing, don't cut your trailer for your introspective societal commentary piece into a TMZ edit. It's just going to create false expectations. Secondly, avoiding accountability is a poison we get drunk on in order to convince ourselves that we are healthy. And lastly, we need a strict evaluation on who gets to become a nurse. I'm being so serious. Why do I see all these cases of nurses? I'm Emilio Fuentes, and you're watching The Emilio Fuentes Show.